Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of On the Other Line Canada. Welcome, everybody, to the show. We've already got a room full of people, 10 to be exact. And the best news of it all is someone that's been trying for weeks to comment is now seen. Alex, welcome to the show, buddy. Kit, hello. We're still waiting to hear back from you, Kit. I know you don't want to come on the show, but it is my goal to eventually get you on the show. We've got some exciting stuff to talk about this week. I don't even know where to start. First of all, our first official contest, we're going to award a prize for that. And with the help of Mitch and myself have been scheming along with a couple other people, we're going to roll out the first official charity fish-off for On the Other Line Canada. And it's going to be exciting. And I'm telling you right now, it's going to be unlike anything anyone's seen. Everyone's going to have a chance to compete. We're going to have a little competition just to get you in on the show. It's going to be awesome. Mr. Yanitsky, we'll talk about you a little bit later in the show. Mitchell, good to see you, bud. Greg Rice, Greg's on here. Greg, we're going to talk about you a little bit later as well. Let's bring him in. Our co-host for this week, anyone that doesn't know him, you're going to know him after this show. I won't say he's got an ugly mug.
Ooh.
Scott?
Am I here? Mug? Am I live? Am I real?
You're live. I won't say in the flesh, but on the screen.
I'm going to pinch myself. It's not even real to be on your show, Todd. Appreciate you having me here.
I don't know about that, my friend. I don't know about that.
Come on.
I wish things were different. You and I were doing the show live from an ice fishing shack somewhere, but let's be brutally honest. We know that you have a tendency to lose when we fish together. So,
whoa. I'll check the tape, but okay, we'll call it a tie. But I'll check the tape.
Well, technically, you did there behind the scenes footage. So, as far as the show goes, anyone that hasn't seen Scott of Reelistic Outdoors, check him out. Sportsman Channel, WFN. There's a little episode in there of the competition of Alberta and BC. Scott so graciously awarded me the champion. I mean, for obvious reasons, I outfished you, right?
Right.
We'll leave that to interpretation.
This is your show, so I'll let you have it.
Well, everybody, I feel like there's a lot of things I say repetitively throughout the show. We're gonna have to start a drinking game of water, of course. Right. But I'm gonna say this, I've said it already 100 times. Anybody that fishes with me knows what it's like. You're one of those people.
Oh, anybody that fishes with me does well. I hope to and help them do well. So I want to see big fish, regardless of who catches it. It's all part of the team, right? I mean, I'd prefer to be me, but as long as one of us does, that's good enough for me.
I would agree. And we're going to talk a little bit about your show later in our show. Really, I mean, the whole idea behind co-hosting is we like to make this about you mostly, a little bit about me because it's me, right?
It's you.
And a little bit about everybody watching. And so, I mean, anyone that has questions throughout the show, we're going to do our best to, get back to you on them. We'll have a little section at the end as well. We're going to bring in Adam Turnbull to talk a little bit of competition talk. The 5 questions with, you realize that was a speed round that went 10 minutes. So anyone that hasn't seen it, there's some really good stuff in there. And it's exciting.
It was very interesting, actually. The 5 questions. It was kind of a surprise for me.
Just a little surprise?
Yeah, I liked it. It actually made me use my brain, and I haven't had it on since the COVID started. So it was fun.
Now I'm intrigued. Do you have a toy train set in the background?
I do, yeah. It's very big, and
it's just making the rounds.
Yeah, you can hear that all right, I guess.
I'm an interior BC boy. Those things were like 100 feet from a house growing up, so I know what you're dealing with.
This was 200, 300 yards, maybe, but it blows the horn right there. So
now, for anyone that hasn't lived near a train, question. Have you found when you go someplace else that does not have a train close, you can't sleep because of the sound of that train at night?
I have an app on my phone. It makes sounds. Yeah, I know. It's true.
A train sound.
When people come and stay over, they're like, I couldn't sleep with the trains. I'm like, what trains?
Well, trains would be better than the snoring I create when I'm fishing with people.
Agreed.
Well, Scott, why don't you tell us a little bit about your passion for fishing in the outdoors? I love watching your shows. We talked about this the other night. One of the biggest things I enjoy about your shows is you take time to educate us about some outdoor survival. Smoke them if you got them. Amazing episode. If anyone hasn't seen it, again, we'll talk about that later. But, seeing your passion on TV, where do you get that passion from?
I think I just don't like people. No, I like to recharge. And when I get out and I'm by myself and I just have the rod and the challenges of the outdoors, I think it recharges me. It really helps me set up for the next day. And if I have a regular work day or whatever, I'm ready to go full at it. But I think it just gives me a lot of time to think, and I do inventions and I come up with new schemes while I'm out there, and I work through them. And I think that's one of the only sports that you can really do that, because you can't really do it while you're playing baseball or golfing or something like you. So yeah, I just really like the alone time and this one-on-one with another co-angler, and I just really like that.
Yeah, it is one of those things. I mean, my goal actually this winter has been to introduce more people to fishing. Unfortunately, I chose ice fishing to do that. I've had some new anglers out this year. I'll do it more with open water. And it's funny that you say that, is that there's a lot of things you can actually achieve from just like a personal growth standpoint or stress relief that you wouldn't necessarily get from any other sport.
It's true. I really feel like I don't look 75, and
you're aging well.
I thank you. And it's the outdoor passion that does it. I get misjudged by my age all the time, and I hang with much younger people just because I feel like more alive getting out there. And I would much rather go out and drill a hole and be skunked than sit at home and watch TV. And
I'm a little bit shocked, because I was always under the assumption that people from Prince George had a fountain of youth, and that's why, like, at 75, I'm like, this dude's drinking the Kool-Aid. It's fishing.
It's the Kool-Aid, but it's really lake water.
It's the Fraser River water, isn't it?
I eat scuds right out of the lake.
Yeah, I bet you do. 3-eyed scuds.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well,
that's pretty much it for me. I mean, I just really enjoy the challenge of like ice camping. I'm one of the weirdos that I look forward to the winter just for the solace that I get out. And like you see in the background here, I'll just go out and camp in a tent, be dropped off by an airplane maybe, and left alone to survive out there. And I enjoy that. Like it's really something that helps. It builds my character.
Yep, I would agree. And something else you're really doing well is you're setting the proverbial tracks for the future for your daughter. You have your daughter in a lot of shows as well, and I can tell she enjoys it, especially when she outfishes you as well.
Yeah, well, I like to let her catch as many fish as she can, because I want her to enjoy it. Like when I was brought out as a kid, I remember my famous saying was, "Are we done yet?" My dad never made it fun for us, and so I didn't get my passion early. It was later, maybe when I was 14 or 15, when I could get out of the house and be alone and do my own thing. But I want to make it fun for her. And in fact, we just got back from another 3-day camping on the ice. It was minus 28 with the wind chill, and her and I enjoyed herself. Caught a whole bunch of pike, and she's every time still ready to go for the next time. She's still excited, so it's working.
Yeah, I do love seeing that. I mean, at the end of the day, it is all about being able to pass on your passion. Look how crooked this is. Here, let's just.
I think it's your head, dude.
It could be my egg head, as my dad would say. I'm wearing my hat like my grandpa would. That's the way it is. So we'll adjust that in a second. But yeah, just really proud of the future that you're laying and showing the younger generation and being able to pass that on there, Scott.
Thank you. Yeah, my son actually joined us in this last trip too. He popped in, and he's gained a huge interest in hiking and kind of solo camping and ice camping and stuff too. And yeah, he popped in at the lake because he's working up in Fort St. John, and he kind of came down, and he kind of put his tent up beside us. We're not same cohort, so we didn't, join bubbles, but yeah, he loves it. And shout out to Evan. He's probably watching. I mean,
he's on here. I was just going to bring it up. I see.
Oh, yeah.
Haha, I feel that, Scott. And then it's, what about your son? So.
Oh, he said that?
Yeah. Evan is on here.
Come on,
Evan's watching. Hi, Evan.
I was leading into it, my friend. I can't see anything on the chat line here. It's not.
No, I know it's top secret.
Yeah, I don't see any of this. I was going to pull it up on my computer here on the side so I could see it, but
don't worry, nobody's saying anything nice about you, if that makes you feel any better. So it's probably best we just don't share what's going on.
Totally makes me feel better. In fact, it makes me think I'm doing the right thing then.
Well, I mean, we've got Ricky Hofflin on here. We got Mitchell, or Mitch. I call him Mitch. Sorry if I'm confusing anyone. Greg Rice says hi. Luke is on here. Dana. Hey, Dana, how are you? What's that?
Which Luke?
Let me scroll back because there's a lot of people saying hi. Luke, where'd you go? Luke Sadler.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Luke. Yeah, He's a guy I work with. We fished together a few times. He's gaining a huge passion for the outdoors. I like helping him out. It's and my daughter has taken a huge passion to filming for me. So it's kind of been nice where I don't, with this COVID, that I actually have an extra camera around because it's just been amazing, and she loves doing editing, so she's going to start editing some of my shows here pretty quick. She wants to do the intro, the one we just finished filming, so I'm going to let her go ahead and film the intros and the outros for that. So
that's exciting.
Pretty stoked to see how that turns out, because it'll be something different. She edits all the time, all day long on her stuff, so I'm curious to see how it works out.
And Mitch is also saying that he talked to Jim on Sunday and he had an amazing time out with you. I know we're going to talk a little bit about, or maybe we won't talk a little bit about that, but you know what I'm talking about.
I do, where I was taking a beating down on your lake there.
My local lake.
I loved every minute of hanging out with Jim, and it was just too bad that we had to, meet in this COVID pretense. And we had to be in separate pretense. So, yeah. But it was a good time.
What we call the new normal, right?
I hate the new normal.
Tell me about it. Well, let's talk a little bit about, you've just finished your first season of Reelistic Outdoors. Again, that's on Sportsman Channel, WFN. I've watched all 13 episodes. What has your experience been like? And really, what has it been like with this new normal in trying to make your first season as a TV show work?
Well, that's a great question, Todd. This is the sixth season we've actually been filming, but this is the first season we actually went to national television, and we had a lot of bookings for fly-in lodges, and I had all this amazing stuff planned for everybody, and I was just looking so forward to showing everybody. And then, of course, all the flights got canceled and all the borders got canceled, and I had to scramble to get stuff together. So you'll see a lot of it is mostly local stuff where, I filmed at Tabor Lake, and I filmed at Dragon Lake, and I filmed at a few other local lakes, and I really had to just blast out some backup stuff, and it's been hard because all my sponsors that were all lined up, they backed out because they didn't know where COVID was taking them, and they had to kind of reserve their own funds for their own staff. And I totally understand it. Everybody had a hardship to deal with, so I had to do a lot of quick digging to get this actually to go. I had committed to the network, and I was going to continue to commit no matter what I had to do to get there. So
right,
it was a big challenge. Because not only do I film it and host it and edit it and direct it and get the sponsors and do all the emails and the receipts, and it's a big chore. And then when all the bottom dropped out, it was just that much more again. So, but
yeah, so there will be a second season, right?
It's already in the ways, my friend, already in the ways.
I'm excited because some of the areas you fish, I'm very familiar with. the thing I really enjoy about it is you give a really good opportunity for people to see what it's like to fish. I mean, I know you're not just interior of British Columbia, but a lot of different areas where for us in Alberta, we just do not have the access to. And not only that, with the stress on our fishery in Alberta, you know, the opportunity of catching is few and far between, especially this year. And you just put on an awesome show when it comes to that.
Oh man, I really appreciate that. It's nice to hear that once in a while. You know, you spend so much time with your head in the grindstone, and you kind of forget that you're actually getting out there to the world, and it's kind of nice to hear that back once in a while. And I have been getting a few emails which made me smile about some people who seen my show, you know, in the States, and they looked me up, or somebody that's seen my truck, the graphics, and they looked me up and wanted to know some stuff. Even this weekend, I had people come over and say, I saw your truck there and I'm having troubles. I'm new to fishing. I don't know how to tie this. I just lost 2 fish. Can you tie this for me? Can you show me how to do, you know, whatnot you prefer? And so it's been awesome to really get out there and be recognized after as much work as I've done. I mean, I'm not doing it to be recognized. I just kind of wanted to
No.
make a passion business, you know, so I can do something that I'm in love with all the time.
How have you found it affects that passion? Because I mean, I've done competition stuff. I've done it with Adam, and Adam, I saw the faces you're making at me there, and I'll tell you what, we'll have a little chat in the show there. You're going to be at a competitive disadvantage. But
I, as a rule, don't compete because the same reason I don't watch the Canucks play hockey, because my blood would run out of my ears. It's just too much pressure, and I hate to take the fun out of it. The sole reason that I do it. That said, this scenario of everything that I've done, doing it myself, really did take half of the fun out of it this time. And I am setting up, and I have staged myself for this next season to be able to bring more people on board. I will be hiring people, and I will be taking the load off my shoulders a lot more, and then focusing more on what I do, so I can actually spend more time bringing the value of what I'm doing out there to everybody else.
right, because I mean, there's a lot of behind the scenes work as well that people don't see and understand, right? I mean, your show may only be half an hour, but the hours that you're putting into it must be a lot of stress. And that's why, you know, I wonder, have you lost a little bit of the fun in fishing to be able to make the show work, or do you find that it's grown?
I would lie if I said that I haven't lost some of the fun of fishing. When I get to a lake and I take somebody new who's never fished with me, and they realize that they have to wait 45 minutes to an hour before they're allowed to get their lines in, because I have to have the lighting right, the mics right, the cameras right. I mean, because you know as well as I do, a lot of times the first fish of the day and maybe the only fish might hit right away. And the last thing you want is to not have it on camera, or to have it on camera and you can't use it because it's too dark, or to have it on camera with no audio. It's just, so there's all these complications. And then the night prior to, you know, I have about 25 things that need charging, and the cards that need cleaning, and the cameras that need their, you know, taken care of, and all the
Charging.
tripods. And yeah, it is a big deal. So it never ends for me. Like I'll spend 2 to 3 days setting up my list to make sure I have everything I need, which, by the way, I'm actually going to post pretty soon. I've done a very extensive Excel spreadsheet with check marks and color codes for people to go out and summer camp and winter camp. And that'll help you get, you know, so you're not forgetting that one thing that just drives you crazy. So then I'm packing for a whole day, and then we go out and shoot, and after all the setup, and then I'm unpacking for a whole day, and then I'm downloading, and then there'll be probably 150 hours of actual video. Then I have to watch it all again,
Yep.
clip out all the pieces I want, and then I make this show. So yeah, it's a full process. And then of course the next one's already started, so I'm having to plan the next one and the next one. So I couldn't imagine like Jim doing 26 a season. Right now I'm only doing 13. And plus, you know, I have a full-time job as well. And So it's been a lot on my plate, but it's
I
fun.
would love it when you get those checklists. Send them over to me. We'll share them. I'm just, when you're explaining this to me, even for myself, I mean, I don't do a lot of filming, but I am the guy that likes to have his pictures because I'm typically releasing the majority of these fish. The number of times I've gone on a trip and went, I can't believe I forgot that. Like, I swear, every trip it happens. There's always something where I'm like, can't believe I forgot that. So,
Yeah, and that's why I made this extensive list. It's very nice, and you know, you can add a few of your own favorites into it, whatever, and customize it. But it's pretty generic. But you won't, if you take everything that's on that list, you're good to go. Good to go.
yeah, it's so important, right? Because, I mean, you put so much time into this trip. You want it to go off as well as possible without really beating yourself up for stuff that you've forgotten.
I've been so close to forgetting fishing gear because there's so much camera stuff to take.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So if I don't have the list, and the list has 3 stages, whether it's found, organized, or packed. And some of the stuff is whether you found it, needs charging, or you need to borrow it. Like, there's a whole bunch to the list. So
Right.
I have to check it off in 3 stages. I know where it is. I definitely have it. Now I put it in a staging area and with it when it's on board my truck.
Now, have you, man, I'm losing my mind here already this evening. Is there any other place where people can go, say, if they don't have access to Sportsman Channel or WFN? Is it being broadcast? I know, there's a commitment for a lot of these channels. See, it's at the bottom.
Yep. Yeah, I have a members only Patreon account. I have several levels of stuff that we do on there. The basic level will allow you to see most of my old stuff and all the new stuff as it comes off.
Yep.
So in fact, I posted another brand new one this morning. And then there's tiers where you'll actually start to be able to learn to tie flies. And I have, in fact, Ryan Storch is on there from Rise Flies. He shows us some patterns, and then I'll do some live ties on the higher tie tier with people. One-on-one, we'll just sit and I'll help them whatever they need to learn to get where they're going. But that's where most of the stuff is, and it's as cheap as a cup of coffee. So.
Yep. Yeah, Ryan Storch does an amazing job tying up some stuff. I have some stuff here for some other people as well we'll talk about later in the show.
Probably see his logo goes past wherever this damn camera is.
It does, yeah. There's a few logos there I'm familiar with. Greg Grace is asking, when is Reelistic Outdoors coming to Alberta?
When is COVID going to suck my arse? That's the actual question. Greg, I'm so primed to be there this year. I want to do some fall fishing with you guys. I want to definitely hang out with you, and I 100%, and I want to get out with Mitch as well. And I totally am stoked to do it. And we were so close last year, but the COVID, and then I had to change with some of my sponsors, and it was unfortunate that things worked out that way. My glasses are crooked, or is it your hat?
I think it's just crooked. Anthony's saying on here, even if I do have an egghead, the Hidden Waters hat looks good, so I'll just take that. Cheers
for that.
It could be the hairdo underneath. I mean, he even got a haircut just for the show. Not really just for the show, but
I think it's your Snoop Dogg headphones there.
It could be. And you know what's funny? You just had to point it out. These things don't fit my head.
Well, how could they? You're a Sasquatch.
Again, anyone that's fished with me knows.
That's right. I could stare straight into your solar plexus.
Especially in a tent.
And I thought I was a tall person, but no.
Things get really awkward. I had Ty tell me today he's going to take me fishing when he buys a new truck. And I said, dude, if you think you're getting me in that truck, game over. Buy a flat deck. Then maybe I will fit on the truck, but not in it.
Game over.
Well, we're going to talk about your favorite body of water. Many people haven't heard of it. I've been fortunate enough to fish it with you for your show, the Williston Watershed. And I know you love this area.
Huge passion for the whole watershed. And whether it's the creeks or rivers, the main lake itself, on both sides of the dam, and of course the Williston Watershed, or the Williston Lake itself, is I think it's the largest dam body of water in Canada. I can't actually remember the
It's
specs.
huge.
It is very big. It's like 100 miles. And then it runs like 50 miles or 60 miles north and south, or east and west. So it's kind of like this cross. And there is some really nice fish in there, and there's some such really nice areas. It's a wild lake. It's a dangerous lake. They won't even insure your boat on that lake because
Wow.
of the debris. Yeah, they flooded that without clearing the trees. So there's a lot of trees that just come on up, torpedo your boat. But that said, there's such a good fishery there, and the grayling and the bull trout and the lake trout and the rainbows, it's just a phenomenal fishery.
Are those your three key species that are typically in that body of water?
They're the ones that I typically fish for. It'd be lake trout in the fall and right now. Bull trout, kind of both, but grayling in the summer. And I love fishing the grayling. Fly fishing for grayling is one of the most relaxing things I've ever done.
I did grayling last year for the first time, and I mean, it's amazing. There's something about those fish. I don't know what it is, just the thrill
incredible.
of catching them.
Yeah. Did you fly fish for them?
Yes.
Question mark?
We talked about this last week. There's something about my ability to have the talent and knack. I've watched Brad Pitt like 100 times. We all know the movie, right? The old 10 and 2. This year I will do better, I promise. But
Fair
no,
enough.
it was not on a fly rod.
No. Well, that's too bad. Because that's what really makes it. Watching them just sip that fly off the surface, and it's just amazing.
If I don't get it sorted out soon, I'll just put a spin reel on a fly rod. That counts, right? Is that fly fishing?
You put a bobber on a fly or something, at least, so you're using a fly.
Yeah, half points, right?
There you go, half points. Sure.
Well,
bobber and a fly for the win.
Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll be the first guy to put a spin reel on a fly rod. I know that won't offend anyone that is hardcore into fly fishing.
You're offending me, and I'm not hardcore.
Could be a little bit of controversy there.
Down and backwards, you're all right. No anything.
Well, your favorite species we want to talk about, I love them. Bull trout.
Yeah, you thought you had big ones until you came and seen me.
That was insane.
Right?
Even more insane that you kind of give me the gears over my homemade ugly stick. It still worked.
Oh, yeah, it worked. It was sad. I think I have a princess rod from my daughter when she was 2 that was nicer than that rod, but
Disney rod slay, don't.
It worked. Yeah, the bull trout. If I had to pick one, that would 100% be my favorite. They're just super aggressive, and then they fight so hard, so much longer. And I mean, that's what I do it for, is the fight of, and you don't have to downsize the rod and gear to make it more of a fight. They fight no matter what size gear you're using, so you can actually get them in pretty decent quick and get them back on their way nice and gentle. So
here's a question.
Sure.
Certain parts of BC, you're allowed to keep them. Have you eaten bull trout?
Once.
And does it taste like chicken?
It tastes like mercury.
Okay. Well, close.
Yeah. It was like a big rainbow. It was kind of a reddy pink meat, and I caught that out of the lake, and it was gill hooked. It took a bait that big 3/4 of the way down. So because of bull trout, I actually changed a lot of the ways I fish for big fish. There's no more T50s with 2 treble hooks in my book. No more. I will redo them all with single Siwash on the back. Yeah, a lot of things that I've changed for fishing just to make sure that that didn't happen again. I was kind of upset when it happened, and I mean, I'll keep some fish, and it is what it is. But when the species is protected the way it is, it was just a little upsetting. Because the
Yeah.
sad thing is that same fish, a couple 100 yards into the river is protected. Then it swims into the lake. You catch it in the lake, and it's legal. And I still have a problem with that. It should be at least closed for a good amount of the year or something for catch and release only or something. But
Yeah, I
that's
mean, it
another
goes
story.
back to the fish handling, right? We I don't want to say literally beat it to death, but fish handling has become such a top topic when we're talking fishing because we're seeing it daily. The way fish are being handled, and like you mentioned, obviously in that scenario, the chance of it surviving are very slim. You want to do everything you can by the sounds of what you're doing to make sure that there's some longevity and those fish have the opportunity to grow and turn into something big, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And we've stopped using nets for the most part too. We'll handle them to the side of the boat, the bull trout. And then lake trout, we've specifically got rubberized nets now for them. And I just ordered a new cradle that actually hooks on the side of the boat, and you can just leave it there and then just lift off one, pull your fish in, close it, and it's locked, and then you can let it revive a little bit while you're getting organized and getting the hook out and stuff. So yeah, I am making changes. I now carry a descender to get the lake trout down if I've caught it more than 25, 30 feet, so that it can actually compress its air properly and get back down swim bladder. So there's a few things that we can do as anglers that aren't expensive that would really help the fish live longer. So
That's actually a great idea for those deep water fish and in being able to help make sure they recover. That's a tip we haven't heard. So
if
new
you
tip.
have a live scope, and this is the sad thing, and I've seen it fishing with some people, I'd have my live scope down on search mode and forward mode, and I could see the trout go down like 10, 15 feet, and then it came up and it was stuck underneath the ice somewhere. And just because it'll paddle way hard, but then it can't fight itself against the bloated swim bladder. So,
Yeah.
gurgling a fish is definitely helpful, but nobody wants to lay a fish on the ice and start, massaging the air out either. So, bringing it up slowly is definitely one way to help. And I know people are just in a panic to get the fish up, but bringing it up slowly, waiting for the air bubbles is definitely one great way. But a simple way, you can get them for $30 now. The ascender is hook it on another rod. You have it handy, you snap it on the fish's lips, and then you let them back down the hole. And when you get to 40 or 50 feet, you just stop and let it recover. It'll start pulling on you hard, and then you release it down to 60 feet, whatever you set it at.
Yep.
And then it opens up and lets the fish carry on. And now it's had a chance to recover at the proper temperature and at the proper depth. So
That's amazing. That's a great way to give them another chance, right? That's really what it's all about.
Yeah, I was hoping to get out. We had such late ice. I was hoping to get out a little more this season to actually show the use of it. But next weekend is kind of my only weekend, and I have another commitment, and I can't make it. So I don't know if I'm actually going to get on the lake trout this year.
Leave it for season 2. That's all I can say.
Season 3, because I'm filming season 2 right now.
Well, fit it into season 2. You can make adjustments. Come on.
Yeah.
What'd you bring us for your favorite tackle for bull trout, Scott?
Well, it's actually changed. I had been using some homemade jigs that I make, but these tube jigs, now let's see. Oh, they're green. That's not going to work on my green screen. Oh my goodness, that was just dumb. There's something I didn't think about.
It's not as bad as me running for the hook I said I would bring today at the last minute. So
here's the name of it if it shows up. It's made by Certified Lucky. They're local down south. So the plastic baits, and this particular kit comes with actually the weight and the jig in it, but it has a whole bunch of pizzazz in the back, and they glow like you would not believe. And I have been using them to great success, and so I've kind of started using them. It also, the nice thing is because they're hollow, it has a scent chamber, so you can give it a little squeeze of your favorite smelly salts right in there. Like I put in there usually the trout or the krill, and I
Right.
just squeeze it inside, and then it lasts quite a long time in there. So,
Which anyone watching should realize and understand. For Alberta, most of our bodies of water are bait banned, so always check your regulations because, as I've learned the hard way, not saying I've gotten a ticket, but from Scott, the regulations between BC and Alberta are totally different. So for anyone that's like, this dude's baiting bull trout, what's wrong with that? Rules are different in different areas. You're not in Alberta, so
our bait rules are actually a lot more strict than your guys. In a river, I couldn't use that because most of the rivers have a bait ban, and scent is classified as a bait. But when we're fishing for them in the lakes, for both lake trout and bull trout, that's one of the things I will use, and I will actually run a little bit of jelly on it, smelly jelly of some sort.
Yep.
And works good. But yes, and scent is classified as a bait, so don't think that. And even if you buy scented tubes or salted tubes, that's classified as a bait, so an attractant. So you have to be very careful. And I know that ignorance is definitely not bliss in this situation. They'll give you a nice fine. Maybe take the truck.
They're just doing their job, right? I mean,
just doing their job. And
it's up to us to read the regulations.
Those regs are hard to read. Like, I get at least 2 people a week sending me, I don't know if I'm allowed to fish here. Is this legal? And I'm like, oh my goodness. And then I have to scroll through going, geez, I don't know. Like, I'm not in your area, but that doesn't sound. And then I'll just contact the DFO or the CO and ask them directly by email because it just doesn't make sense.
And they're always good at being able to clarify that, right? I usually always have a question when we get our license checked just to fire his way. It's kind of a test. I'm not going to lie. I'm just trying to see, what kind of feedback I got. Anyways, I told you I'd bring it. We'll see how well it shows up. Probably not very well. Oh, we cover the light.
A little closer to you.
Here.
No. Is that? Oh, that's the white one.
That's the white pearl, the crocodile. You turned me on to that for Lakers. I use it a lot for bulls. I also brought the staple bait clown. I can post pictures of these if anyone wants to see them.
There you go.
Love staple baits. Same thing. Local. Northern Alberta boy.
Yeah. Love the tubes.
And I mean, tubes are huge for bulls out here. And then Kyle Kelm does his version of a tube as well. So we got some nice stuff there. I have a box full of tubes. I mean, tubes are life out here, I guess you would call it.
It's a staple, and if it's not, you should make it a staple because it definitely brings in big fish.
Yeah. Now, it's not a bull trout question, but Alex is asking what your favorite tying pattern for a trolling streamer for rainbows is.
Oh, I have a new one, and it came out of Nicholas Rothwell from Certified Lucky brought it up when we went to Quesnel Lake. We were doing an episode there last summer. And I'll be darned if I can remember the name of it. I'm sure if Nicholas is watching, he'll actually post it in the comments there.
I saw the episode, and I don't remember the name of it either, but I know I made a note of it. It's in my phone, but I won't be that host.
Whatever that lake is down there, not the Okanagan Lake, but it's one of the other lakes down there. Starts with an S, I think, and it was named after that lake. Oh my goodness, I cannot remember. Basically, Alex, it's a small, skinny, needlefish looking bait. It's very rainbow trout looking. But if we didn't have that on, we went through so many this summer, and when we had that on, it was like triple fish instantly. It was double headers. It was crazy. Yeah. Really great pattern, but hopefully Nicholas will have it, and if he sees this afterwards, he'll actually post a picture of it.
Maybe we'll get the info on that from him or from yourself, right?
He will, and if not, I'll drag it out of him and I'll post it on this link on the show.
Now, talking about questions as well, we have a rookie here asking a question, so we need to go really easy on him. Okay, Mitchell Lilly. He's asking, what is your go-to pattern for trout in a stream?
Royal Coachman all day long. Dry fly. Love dry fly.
Yeah.
But if I'm going subsurface, oh my goodness, probably, oh my goodness, maybe like a caddis, an emerging caddis, something like that. But I 9 times out of 10, I will tie a Royal Coachman or a parachute coachman or wolf coachman on first.
Yep.
It's like my searching pattern, and rainbows love them. And so
guaranteed if Mitch doesn't have 20 of any of those in his box already, he will when he's done. Same with Alex. I know he's going to be chomping at the bit because he lives in Castlegar. And
actually, I think Alex posted a comment on my Royal Coachmans I posted last week, and that he'd like me to tie him up some, or maybe that was that Alex or was it Kyle? No, it wasn't Kyle. Somebody from Alberta asked me, I think. Maybe.
Yeah. Mitch is asking, what about the devil bug?
I have no idea what that is, but it sounds delicious. Mitch,
I would eat it if I was a fish. I'm not going to lie. I don't know what it is either, but maybe you can share a picture to us. And he says he's against the Royal Coachman. So
he's dead to me then.
Well, you know what? Why don't you guys come out and compete against it?
Oh, nice. Well, I don't know his waters. How about he come to my waters where I know it works?
Looks like we're meeting in Jasper.
That's it. A secret unknown location.
Could very well be, right? Well, What's a show without a third wheel? This guy's been making faces at me all show, and I see you looking at me. You know, it's a love-hate relationship with this guy, but I'll bring him in anyways. The Horseshoe Kid. Adam, welcome to the show.
Adam!
How's it going, guys?
Good. How are you doing, bud?
Good, man. Good.
What's your go-to pattern? Tell us. Is it a Royal Coachman?
Well, no, I'm going to go golden stonefly.
Ooh.
Golden stones, black stones sometimes too, and then I like fishing streamers too, so big chuck and duck, articulated, or dungeon we'll call it for the sake of the arguments going on lately.
Now, Scott, like a bull trout, I see a good head shake. What are you thinking?
Oh, I'm just thinking that's a hell of a big dry fly, because I thought that's what we were asking, but whatever's taking that off the surface, I want to fish it too.
Hey, come to Alberta. You'd be surprised what we find out here at the sewage treatment plant down the road.
Oh,
if it's just a dry fly, we're definitely going stimulator.
I fish them a lot, but I don't have a lot of success with them, and I'll put another Royal Coachman on right behind it, and I'll catch fish. So it's weird. Every body of water has a little bit of different taste, different flavor.
Absolutely.
Yep. Adam, what did you bring us for bull trout tackle? You bring something outside of what you already showed us?
Well, I didn't get to ice fish them this year, but I was super hyped to use this white and chartreuse bucktail. Unfortunately, I didn't get up to Kananaskis there to fish them. Other than that, mainly, you guys covered it. White tubes are pretty clutch, obviously. So that about covers it. I do use a lot of like shad wraps too, in the Old Man as well as the Highwood. So
have you eaten a bull trout?
No, never. I don't think they really interest me. I tried little Lakers, and little Lakers were good. I'm not sure if I would keep a big Laker even, so I'm not sure about a bull trout, really. That doesn't
Scott's agreeing with you.
Yeah. 8 pounds and under. That's the tastiness. Everything else is 100 years old, and you don't want that.
Yeah, exactly.
And smoked, right, Scott? Anyone that hasn't seen it, your smoker you make on the ice, amazing. I wish I was there.
One of the most popular episodes by viewers, and I don't mean by a little bit, I mean by a lot. It was like 80% of the favorite show that was out there, and I was very hesitant to put it together.
Yeah,
I was like, these are some of the things I do. I like bushcrafting a lot, but I didn't think that people would enjoyed as much as they did when I put it together with the fishing show. So,
Well, being a master of the skunk, I can tell you right now, I will take all the tips I can. So I usually sit there and
you better
write it
bring
in
some.
my. Don't kid
See.
yourself. I write it in my phone.
You better bring some almonds to smoke then, because if you don't have fish,
Yeah, I guess when you don't really bring much else to the table but shade in the winter doesn't really help, right?
yeah. There's no sun in
Summer?
the winter.
That's
Well, be a
true.
wind block this weekend because it's going to be windy on Saturday, Todd.
35-kilometer-an-hour winds. I'm fishing with Adam and Tash, and Marcy and myself are going out this weekend,
80K
flying
plus.
kites.
Kite
Yeah.
fishing?
Oh, sorry, I mean ice fishing. I got my sports mixed up. Professional kite flyer right here.
Nice. Where are you going? Is it secret?
Alberta.
That's I know how small Alberta is. I can
Yeah.
find it.
It's really hard to find if
Unfortunately.
you don't have Google.
That's right. That's right.
We're actually coming to Prince George.
You see
I
that
have a
little
good feeling about it. I was in Prince George this summer. We made a quick stop through there. It was very beautiful for sure.
It is, yes. Property values went down since Scott moved there, but that's okay.
I
I'm a
live-
Quesnel boy.
I don't live in Prince George, so
Because the fish populations are getting smarter, so it's harder
Yeah.
fishing up there now.
Scott, whether you live there or not, you're guilty by association. So
I suppose they're my neighbors, right?
why not,
The
right?
noisy neighbors. This knot that I have on my rod that I tie all my braid to my leader
Yep.
for ice fishing, and the only reason I use this is because it sounds like your province. Can you guess the knot?
Alberta.
It's the Alberto knot.
Yeah.
So funny you bring this up right now.
Not funny.
Uni to uni. What's your opinion? The Alberta is better?
I don't know if it's better, but I can
Just you
sure
like
tie
it
it
better?
faster. I can tie it faster. I can tie it like in the dark. Where a lot
Yeah.
of the
See, I've gone really good with the uni to uni, but
Well, uni to uni, we did some tests when we were at one of the trade shows. They brought in the line tester for strength for Berkeley, and we were constantly doing different knots and stuff. And the uni knot, the uni to uni, actually broke at 70% of the line strength. Pretty regular. Where the Alberto knot was at 90, and the one that I preferred that I couldn't tie, and I cannot remember the name of it. You see guys showing you videos and they got the line across the room and it's wrapped around a doorknob and they're trying to keep twist tension on it while they're doing
Mitch is saying surgeon knot.
No. I'll post that too. It held 99% of the actual line weight, but it is a terror to tie. And if you don't tie it right, will it hold 99%? I doubt it. So
I just started using the Alberto knot here in the last few months, and I love it.
It's simple.
Yeah, it is good, but I don't know about you. I've tied it 100 times, and I still have to Google how to do it. I do not know what's wrong with me.
This one here, in fact, because I use 20-pound braid for the winter, and then I use 5-pound or 6-pound leader, or I'll use a 3-pound leader for my finesse brook trout rod, and I have yet to have that break off. And I've caught some 6-pound brook trout and some 5-pound rainbows and a few other. I caught a small lake trout. It was probably 6 or 7 pounds, and they were all on that. And every time I was reeling it in, I'm like, "Oh, Alberto, and it hasn't slipped yet. So I'm gaining a lot of faith in that knot. So it's so much easier to tie.
Well, into our next topic, and it's actually funny because Scott and I planned this out. And Ricky just mentioned this, and he's asking, Adam and Scott, do you guys have a good wireless mic you recommend for filming? It's maybe driven more towards Scott because I know Adam, he's just the master, believe it or not, the master of filming with the phone. Do you have an external mic, Adam? No? Scott?
No. Yes, I have several versions, and the thing is, do you want it to cost a lot of money, or do you want it to be simple, or do you want it to be amazing but hard to edit? So this is the first one I started with, and I actually have it right here. It's the Rode. It's a little bit larger, but I got wicked range on these. So the problem with this is, they're quite large. So when you're wearing this, it doesn't move around very nicely. But you can get this for, I think, $300, and they were amazing audio. I do have a pair of Sennheisers. They're $1,000, but I'm afraid to take them out in the water. I use them when we're doing dry stuff. But the newest thing that I now do, and it's cheap, and I recommend it to absolutely everybody. Absolutely everybody. These here are tiny, and one AAA battery will last 7 hours, so you're not constantly checking it. It's not a wireless mic; it's a digital recorder. So you have to do a couple audio checks throughout the day, either by stopping or doing some loud one of those, just so that when you sync it to your video, when you sync it to your video, you can find it and sync it up better. But I will tell you, it is a pain in the arse to use, but I have never had a failure. I've never had a crackle because I turned wrong and it lost its connection for a second and snapped. Those other microphones, they go through batteries tons. Like it takes two AA batteries every 3 hours on both ends.
Yeah.
So that one is one AAA all day basically, and if it's a summer day, you might be two. And you can use a 16 meg card. It records in 2 different levels, so you can set the dB levels. So if you're excited and you're with somebody, they're still loud, but you can bump yours down because it's recorded too. It's fantastic. How much? They're $109.
Which is actually not that expensive.
It's not that expensive. And I highly, highly recommend it. And I've beat those pretty good so far. You always have fantastic audio. Guaranteed. Promise.
Very, very cool.
Yeah,
all right, guys. Well, we have 8 minutes left in the show, and I know that seems like there's probably a lot of time. Scott already knows what's coming up. Adam, you kind of know what's coming up. First off, we had a contest last week for our first official giveaway at On the Other Line Canada. For anyone that hasn't seen me share their post, I don't think it's up yet, but if you head over on Instagram or Facebook to Anchor B Lasering, a local company here, Greg and his wife started with lasering. No, not that kind of lasering, Scott. I know what you're thinking already. It's next topic. Lasering mugs. So we had the 4-legged contest. We narrowed it down. Now it's ironic because he goes by Sasquatch, but Mr. Yanitsky, you won a Yeti. So I don't know if that's a conflict of interest for yourself. But the minute I get those from Anchor B Lasering, and I'll share the post the minute I jump online and see it on there, congratulations, you won the very first Yeti mug from On the Other Line Canada. Very, very cool product. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Congrats to the Sask.
Right? Do you guys think that's a conflict?
What his real name is. I've seen him online for the past couple of years. No idea what his real name is.
I had to actually ask him today, and then I'm like, dude, I totally knew that was your name.
What is it? Or if you're not allowed, no, we'll keep it secret.
We'll call him Tim.
Yes, just because he might be in the witness protection program. You don't know.
The funny thing is I know that they tried to shut his account down for it at one point. So again, I mean, I don't know if you're any relation to Yeti, but in any case, congratulations on the win, bud. Once I get those, we've already talked. I have your mailing address. You've sent me 5 fishing pins for this season, so congratulations. The other contest news. Now, Adam, Greg Rice has called you out, and I know Greg is on here. We've been talking a little bit. We're going to launch sometime in June On the Other Line Canada's first official charity fishing competition. We're looking for sponsors. We already have a sponsor lined up that's donating $1,000 to a charity of the winner's choice.
Wow.
$1,000 to a charity.
That's amazing.
We haven't even launched it yet, and it's already $1,000. So if anyone's looking to have their company sponsor this charity event, it's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be a limited field, and we're going to make it up to the fans to decide on who is going to compete. So we're actually going to open it up to 10 spots. 2 of those have already been called for, which is Adam and Greg. They have decided they want to compete for sturgeon. We haven't figured out all the other details. Adam and Greg are going to be our first 2 official competitors in the On the Other Line Canada competition. They're going to go for sturgeon. Adam, I know you're excited. Greg's excited. We'll get Greg on the show. We have an opening for 8 other people to compete, and here's how we're going to do it. What we want people to do is submit your 3 favorite fishing photos of yourself fishing, where you got your passion from for fishing, and if you were selected, who the charity is that you would pick of your choice for that $1,000. Okay? We'll do a post on this. What we're going to do is, out of all the applications we get, we're going to let the fans vote on who those other 8 competitors are. Okay? Now, I know it already sounds complex. Once we've selected as fans who those 8 competitors are, we will start the contest in June. Again, we haven't figured out timelines or time frames, but what we will do is we will select 2 people to compete against each other. We will have the fans vote on a species, one of 3 species that those 2 competitors have chosen, and we will give them a time frame to probably catch, and again, we haven't confirmed this, but possibly catch the largest fish of that species in a certain amount of time. That will narrow the field until we get down to the grand finale, where we'll have 2 competitors compete for the opportunity at $1,000 for their charity. What do you think about that?
The only downfall I see is that either me or Greg is going to be out in the first round.
Somebody's going out first.
I can't talk about backroom betting or where it's at. You guys are both really good friends. I'm going to be non-biased. I'll just run it. But with any good competition, Adam, we know what this is like. We won't talk about it. What is a competition without good judging? What if I told you one of our judges is here now? And you're looking at him. Scott Stewart, I want to thank you for taking the opportunity to be one of our honorary judges for the first On the Other Line Canada competition. So we can e-transfer money to you, right?
That's right.
For a small fee.
Yeah, my Patreon account number is.
Yeah. So for anyone watching, get those photos together, pick your charity, send us on the other line Canada at gmail.com, message me. We're going to take as many applications as we can, and we're going to put it up to the fans and all of your friends and fans to vote on who will be the top 8 to compete for this. So look out for more information on that. I wish everyone good luck. I think it's going to be exciting.
I'm not wishing anybody good luck. I'm impartial.
Guys, just make sure you're handling with your fish. If you do get in, make sure you're handling with your fish is the biggest, most important thing you do. It's not worth a tournament to kill a fish.
Ooh,
Or
thanks for Adam.
anyone that sees the intro, or register your fish with it in your mouth. Now, I will say I did actually eat that fish. So just saying. Anyone that's watched the intro will know what I mean.
Hey,
So
Todd. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Finish up.
No, that's fine. We're gonna wrap up. So what do you have to say?
I know we had 10 more seconds. I want to show something that's $10 and it'll save your life ice fishing.
Yes.
This piece of chimney, which extends out to 3 feet and then collapses down into small, and you stick it under your tent and you point it toward your heater. That's all it needs to draw its own oxygen, and then you won't die. Everybody likes to not die.
Super important.
If you have a vent, it's still drawing your air before you let it draw its own oxygen. It's so cheap. Even if you're going to use a piece of PVC or something you find around the house, I just find this nice because I can manipulate it and it stays in that direction. So I can have it down so it's not picking up snow outside, and then I can extend it right into around in front of where it's burning. This is $10 and actually came twice this size. So there's 2 of them for $10. So this would be $5. Save your life. Tip of the day.
and is a proverbial drop in the bucket when you consider the ultimate cost of losing your life by not being safe.
Never mind you being dead. Remember your family. They have to suffer too.
I'm not laughing at you about the topic, but it's a very valid topic.
Very.
I'm laughing at what Greg is saying here. It's already, the banter's starting.
Uh-oh.
Anyways, we try to keep it to an hour. Scott, I want to thank you for joining the show. Adam's coming for Greg. The competition's heating up. I'm stoked. June can't come soon enough. Next week, again, 2 rookies we've never heard of. Jared and Sladen Littlejohn. Come on here, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Scott, Adam, really appreciate you guys joining me for the show. Scott, quickly, where can we check you out social media-wise?
Reelistic Outdoors on Facebook and the Patreon Reelistic Outdoors. Oh,
Adam
Instagram.
Turnbull. Oh, Patreon. Adam?
Horseshoe Kid. Look for me on YouTube.
Horseshoe
Facebook,
Kid.
Instagram, whatever.
And we will see you Saturday with kites and everything in tow.
Hopefully I'll start catching fish soon. Well, I've been taking it pretty easy though. I don't know.
I'll bring
Kind
luck,
of
don't
over
worry.
ice fishing, but we're in the
Not
March
bad luck,
Madness, so
my
let's
God.
get after him. Last push. Let's go.
I'll bring good luck. All right, everybody. Have a great week. See
Thank
you
you.
next
Thanks for
week.
having me. Respect, Scott. Have a good one, Todd.
Love you guys. We'll talk to you later.
Talk soon.